The world is changing, and investors around the world are becoming more sophisticated, demanding innovative solutions from wealth and asset managers. Combining our deep expertise and experience in both investment and wealth management, Manulife Investment Management offers fully integrated solutions spanning investment funds and pensions globally. Strategically positioned in key markets, our investment and client service operations are supported by seasoned investment professionals across the globe. Today, we are one of the leading global wealth and asset managers. What sets us apart is our 3 complementary global business lines to meet the unique needs of our clients. With our multi-product and multi-channel offerings, our retail investments arm brings institutional capabilities to retail investors, creating unparalleled investment solutions. While our institutional asset management arm provides a comprehensive suite of outcome-oriented solutions to institutions internationally. Our retirement arm offers an open architecture platform, which aims at providing best-in-class products and end-to-end solutions to meet the varied retirement needs. Leveraging the strength of our parent company, Manulife Financial Corporation, which has a rich heritage and investment track record that dates back to the 1800s. We have access to a wealth of experience. With our strong insurance pedigree, we manage risks in a strategic and dynamic way. In Asia, our unrivaled presence and deep understanding of the region enable us to offer strong local insights and flexibility in customizing solutions for every client. It is our unwavering commitment in Asia that makes us a trusted partner of many across the world. Leveraging our local-level expertise, as well as extensive global resources and network, we deliver solid investment results not just in public markets, but also private markets. Our long track record and deep capabilities in private assets means you can tap into a diverse group of assets to meet your unique investment needs. Through our differentiated, value-added public and private asset offerings and capabilities, we punch above our weight in delivering outcome-oriented and goal-based investment solutions to our clients. We achieve excellence in Hong Kong, where we power the largest mandatory provident fund provider, Manulife, and China, where we are the first financial institution to receive the investment company wholly foreign-owned entity license. The Philippines, where we are the first trust corporation backed by a leading multinational financial services group. And Indonesia, where we were awarded the top fund house. And this sums up our commitment to you. Manulife Investment Management.
bag, please.
Baka kasi...
Sa pupuntahan mo, bawal second guessing. Dapat sure na sure. Good luck sa new start. Next. Starting a family? Okay lang mag-umpisa sa maliit. Lalaki yan in time. Huwag kang pa-stereotype. Be your type. Next! Huwag mong ismulin sarili mo. Next! Pag-usapan niyo na, please. Next!
Why don't you act like I do?
You can't do it.
Focus on me.
Focus muna sa
30
bahay.
na.
Wala pang savings.
Kung pakikinggan mo sila, wala kang
She
mapupuntahan.
thinks she's better than she
Look at
really
you.
is.
Di mo pa kaya sa...
Next!
Go. Anong gagawin mo pag nagkaroon ka ng milyones?
Pag may negosyo,
Anong business?
none of your business.
Eh kung mag-around the world na lang kaya tayo?
Saan ang unang punta natin?
Sa airport?
Nakareceive ka naman ng mga text na get rich fast?
Medyo alangayin ako sa mga ganyan. Our goal should never be of the clandestine, to meticulously invest in that result in favorable ROI. And the thought alone gets me absolutely exhilarated.
Ha?
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 Kung yayain ko na lang kayang makapag-date si Hart.
Sal na yun, oy.
Aba, imagine lang naman eh.
Pag ikakasal na kayo, siguraduhin yung malapit kayo sa torre ng telco.
Bakit?
Para maganda yung reception.
Alam ko na. Ipapa-plastic surgery ko na lang yung mukha mo.
Pero,
Walang pero, nakakainis lang kasi itsura mo. Eh kung magpakain na lang kaya tayo sa mga kapuspalad.
di tropa din natin, tsaka pamilya yung pumunta ron. Pa-family reunion ka na lang sana.
Magtatayo na lang ako ng gym
Bakit, Jim?
para mag-workout lahat ng plans ko.
Ano bang plans mo?
None of your business.
Ready, direct!
3, 2, 1, action! And cut!
Buti na lang naisip natin to.
Dali lang pala.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Davila. Let me welcome all of you to this afternoon's Financial Wellness Seminar. This is brought to you by one of the country's top investment houses, Manulife Investment Management. I was a host of ABS-CBN's program, May Puhunan. It was a show that was very close to my heart. And in it, the goal of the show was to actually encourage Filipinos and show Filipinos that with very little, they can change their lives by starting a small business. It was inspiring Filipinos not just to be employees, but to be entrepreneurs above all. Kaya sinasabi ko sa programa, kung kaya nila, kaya nyo rin yan. So whatever stage you're currently in your life, especially we're hitting 2 years into the pandemic, you may be thinking, what does the future hold for me? Well, let me tell you, take those limitations out of your mind and open yourself to new ideas, new opportunities, and the possibility to start your own business. Join me for our special guests this afternoon in discovering how to spark business ideas and accelerate your business in this new normal. So first, I'd like to ask our special guests to say hello. With everybody watching now, I think we have 2,000 live attendees with us today, and we are growing and growing. Tell your friends about it, because this is a free seminar as we speak. And throughout the program, if you have comments or questions, go ahead, type your thoughts in the Q&A box, and later on our guests will address these during our Q&A session. So my first guest is somebody I know by heart, not just because that's her name, but because I know her quite well. This is the living example of a woman who's reinvented herself, showed what opening yourself, your mind, your heart, everything possible, how it can open new doors for you. She is everything. She is her own brand, her own business. She's an endorser, a sold out visual artist, best-selling author, fashion influencer, beauty icon, entrepreneur. Please welcome my dear friend, Heart Evangelista Escudero.
Dear Karen, hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much to my Manulife Investment Management family for inviting me. I am just so happy to be here with all of you.
Always. And you know what, many people actually, when I interviewed you in my YouTube vlog, what many people were surprised with is just how much you're earning really from your paintings. You're a sold out painter. You're venturing even into different avenues of selling your artwork abroad. So clearly, that was a passion. Talk about your passion, Heart, and how you decided, okay, I'm gonna turn this into a business.
Well, it all started when I was very young. I remember painting on our walls, because we had white walls. And my mom got so mad at me, but my dad said, don't scare her, don't traumatize her, just let her be, because that's how she is. You know, I've never really was the type to excel with certain things, but in the creative side, I always knew kind of what to do and I felt good about it. So I remember growing up, just really fully expressing myself, attending workshops, going with my dad to meet different artists and just being exposed to that. I also grew up with my parents, you know, in a restaurant business, and we had, you know, singing cooks and waiters in the States. And I remember singing and, you know, kind of making my first career move when I was very, very young. And it just all started from when I was really young.
Heart, what age did you realize I can make this into a business?
Quite late actually, Karen, because that was when I kind of had a shift with my career. I honestly, you know, in the world of showbiz where, you know, your beauty is fleeting, I kind of felt like I was really lost in the game, and I kind of was in a reset mode where I didn't know what to do. So I started from the very beginning, which was kind of to be myself and not play a certain character that people liked me and wanted me to be. And that's when I started to paint. It was actually at first very therapeutic for me. And then I remember I was so afraid to kind of show my paintings because it was so personal. And, there's a stigma with being an artista that you're just that. So I kind of changed my name and used my real name, which was Love Marie. And when people start to ask, friends start to ask about it, and that's when an artist friend of mine, his name's Ivan Rojas, said, you should try to do an exhibit without introducing you as Heart and you as who you really are. And I was surprised that it when I had my first exhibit, it sold out, and I was very, very surprised that it would be that way. And you had other, art dealers and other artists coming and taking photos, and it was just, so it was a different feeling that they not just bought my paintings but appreciated me for who I really am, actually see my heart and my soul. So that's when it started. But then it kind of it went to something more how do I say, I started to earn more when I started to paint on luxury bags. It was a niche group that wanted it and liked it so much, and that's when it all just started to happen. Then I started to do collaborations, and I also got into NFTs recently. So yeah.
Congratulations. And I think that's actually what's very admirable with you, is because you really took your own route, so to speak. You were walking at your own pace, you were running your own race, you didn't follow or even model towards another actress or another star. You really carved your own path. And the painting is just one aspect, because you, loving luxury goods, being an influencer, people often think that there's no business side to this whole image of you being in luxury. But why don't you tell them, how that works out really for you as a brand?
Well, first, I guess, in a way, you kind of have to shock them with your real, true self, with your authenticity. And then when you kind of dress it up with beautiful clothes and all of that, you sort of get their attention. And then you develop it in a certain way that you don't dress the same way as other people. You may, be able to buy the same clothes, but you interpret it in a different way. And then you kind of inspire people to exercise their individuality by dressing up. And then, so just because, in a way, that's how I do it, I model certain expensive outfits or jewelry, but then I mix it up with a high-end and low-end type of thing that makes it relatable and kind of attainable and aspirational for a lot of people. And then I guess that's how I got sort of the traffic and attention on my Instagram, is how I would mesh different things together and just, in a nutshell, kind of teach people or inspire people that be yourself. It's not about the price tag. It's about how you, mix high-end and low-end, and how you mix old clothes and new clothes. And it's just all about how you portray who you really are, your authentic self. And I feel like, growing up in the industry, actually for almost 24 years now, I would follow a certain mold that they wanted me to be. I would talk a certain way, only dress a certain way. I couldn't be too loud. They'd have to clip my wings because it wasn't going to work for the soap opera type of thing. And after, losing a lot of opportunities because I kind of went on a lull, I rediscovered myself, and that's what it was. It was about being myself. And so I didn't realize it would become, a brand, or I didn't realize that people would like it. But if there's anything, like a lesson that I learned, is just to be yourself.
Yes, that is a beautiful story and a beautiful lesson for all of us to learn, because especially women, I know that many wouldn't admit it, but it could be subconscious for us that we are trained to act, think, behave a certain way or be a certain way, right? And actually, it's when you get out of that box, that shell, that's when you actually succeed. Now, very quickly, Hart, clearly business is something you think about in everything you do. You don't take, you consider, you behave excellently in every project, because in effect, you treat it as a profession. This isn't just a plain hobby anymore for you, but recently you also got into bigger ventures. So you invested in a resort in Boracay, but overall, for those watching, how do you know when it's good to invest in a certain business?
Well,
Why did you invest in that business?
I always believe in intuition as well, but I think it's really important to surround yourself with good advisors, good people, and kind of start from there. I always believed in investing in property. I guess that's how my mom raised me. I mean, she used to handle all of my finances before, and I kind of saw what she was trying to do, and I just started to emulate that in my own way. So that's why I started to get into investing, and again, being in showbiz, looks are so it's fleeting. So you have to be smart about hard-earned money.
Very good. It's very true. And that's something that actually beauty has a shelf life, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Teach your girls to grow up smart instead of them focusing just on beauty alone, right?
My dad would always tell me, youth is wasted on the young. You think it's gonna be there forever, diba? So you have to be smart about your life. And Karen, this is not just about when it comes to property. I mean, for me, because it's what I do, what I put on, what I wear, I invest on that, but I make sure that I will get something from that. Like if I attend something, I will wear something nice, I will spend on it, but I will make sure that my return will be bigger than that. So, there's always like a strategy. It's not just, I just want to spend because I want to spend.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to play a quick game. It's the Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
I don't even know how to play this game, but okay, either you say yes, no, or God knows what you're about to say.
Okay.
Okay, never have I ever lied to G's about shopping.
Okay, the whole time that I was with him, I lied to him every day about my shopping because we view things differently. I mean, we both have different careers, and it's hard for me to understand his job, and it's hard for him sometimes to understand mine, but he kind of gets it. So I would lie to him all the time, except these days, because I've been really working so hard, and I really want to be open, and he helps me also a lot and advises me what I need to do. So I tell him everything. Sometimes
very good. That's good, and that's how marriages last too.
Yes,
And
yes.
never have I ever bought a second-hand or pre-loved luxury item.
Oh, I always buy pre-loved luxury
Good.
items. For what do you need sometimes to buy something new when it's the same price? If you want something to, if you want a watch, then you buy it new, but you definitely make sure that the prices don't go down. Now, if you can't afford it at the moment, but then you see a second-hand that's doable, you go for that. But if you resell it, the value will be good. For example, I buy second-hand Birkin bags that are all already worn out. I paint on it, and I sell it for a higher price. So sometimes it's also, it's a good investment. And there's a reason for it. So it's just discarte.
Discarte, and the strategy, you said it, overall strategy. Never have I ever bought in an ukay-ukay.
Let me just hear that one more time. Okay.
Never have I ever bought in an ukay-ukay.
Well, if you think vintage shops aren't ukay-ukay, I think that's the English word of vintage shops. Every time I go to Japan, I'm there in Ginza, I'm in Komeo, I'm in Brand Off looking for the best buy ever. I also did a recent trip in Sorsogon. There's an ukay-ukay where they had a 20 peso store, and it was fantastic. I love, some other people's trash, some people's treasure.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I bought a lot of ukay-ukay from Baguio before, but the problem is the ukay-ukay vendors became really smart. They now know the branded stuff.
Yeah, and they check if it's original or not. So
yeah, they know. All right, never have I ever sold my old stuff so I can buy a new one.
Definitely. I used to, because my parent, let me just say, my mom used to handle when I started to handle my money, I went wild. I didn't know how much I earned before. So I bought so many Birkin bags, I did all of that. And then I remember my husband said, you'll earn, but you'll be a slave to your work because of what you keep buying. So I have a new kind of rule that I sort of try to live by, but whenever I buy another bag, I make sure that I dispose one or it's an upgrade. So my money just keeps rolling in a way.
Okay. Thank you, Hart. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Your story, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. So, ikaw talaga #life goals. Beauty business goals. Anything you want to say? We're going to hear from you later on. So I'll get back to you, Hart, in a bit. All right? Okay, stay beautiful, dear. Okay, guys, just like Hart, do you have a passion for your business idea? Before we introduce our next speakers, let's first watch this short video from some entrepreneurs who happen to be Manulife's customers. Watch this.
Hello everyone, my name is Sumera. I am the founder and the creative director of Kids Space Studio, a space design firm that focuses on creating a profound connection between you and the space that you live in. I launched my business at the height of the pandemic, and what others may perceive as crazy, I would like to think of as courageous. And granted, there are a lot of obstacles that my baby startup had to face, like the malls closing down or not being able to go to site visits, or talk to your clients face to face, which is very important if you want to get to know them. But through it all, we learned how to persist, how to adapt, and how to innovate. Because in the end, the greatest tool at your disposal, if you want your business to survive the pandemic, is your ability to think creatively and come up with novel solutions to survival threats. In our case, we had to find a way to do things digitally. Like, all our client meetings are conducted through Zoom like everyone else. We have broadened our supplier list by aggressively looking for and partnering up with reliable e-commerce websites. We have bolstered our e-design service, which is our remote service, where everything is done exclusively online. And we have also diversified our marketing avenues by penetrating different social media platforms in a way that still makes us visible despite the limited contact with the outside world.
Hi, I'm RR. I run the baker together with my husband and 2 kids. We started our home-based bakery last June of 2020. Our business is thriving mainly because we love what we do while we earn from it. And we are committed to giving our customers premium quality home-baked goods. You really need to be consistent in everything that you do. Be consistent with your schedule. Be consistent in giving the highest quality standard every single time in doing your business. When your customers know that you're there and that you are consistent with everything, they will love you and they will stay with you.
Hi, I'm Joy, and I'm the co-owner of What's Your Baon, a food delivery service catering to major cities in Metro Manila. I started this business with my partner in 2019. So to date, we have put together over 200 menu items, and it's still growing as we discover new recipes and try out new techniques. And to continue to survive and thrive, we must meet and even exceed our customers' expectations. One way to do that is to never stop learning and never stop innovating. Try experimenting with new things, new concepts, and pivot your strategy if it no longer works for you or for your business. This is the time to rethink, redo, and respond to the ever-changing needs of our customers.
Hi, my name is Charlene Panida Carlos, and I'm the proud owner of Mama Botanica PH. I primarily sell plants from Holland, including different Asian countries. At that time, people wanted the convenience. So they said, oh, okay, I want to buy the planters for you, but can you add a plant in it? So what I did, since it was on lockdown, I would just go to my garden and I pick plants, pot them, and then shoot them in the planters and then sell them as a whole package. Like, my plants became such a hit and people started buying more plants. I noticed that people on Instagram had bigger wallets than Facebook. So I used Instagram as my main selling avenue. One thing that really stuck to me and which I apply to this day is to give your clients a story. Everyone likes to know the backstory of a certain thing, a certain plan, or even your business. This makes you more relatable. It makes you connect with them more. I cannot stress enough the importance of good photos and good captions. Do not be obsessed with your follower count or with your likers. It doesn't matter. You know, there are a lot of big accounts with 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, but they don't have good quality customers. What's more important is that you build a base. You create good connections, good relationships with your customers, and then you grow together. You know, you have to do a lot of research in your business, know what's happening, and be abreast with the trends, and at the same time also know what's the next trend.
So, are you a business owner or do you dream of owning your own business? Well, this webinar is really for you. Our next set of guests are two of the most successful brands and business leaders in the country, and I'm sure we can learn from them. Let's all welcome the co-founder and CEO of Potato Corner. I call him an entrepreneurial hero and role model, Joe Magsaysay Jr., popularly known as Joe Mag. Welcome, Joe Mag. And also we have the co-founder and CEO of Zalora Philippines. This is one business that still made a lot of money, we have to say, during the pandemic, Paulo Campos III. Hello, gentlemen. Joe Mag, you can start.
Hello, Karen. I'm so happy to be here and excited to talk about business.
All right, Paulo, you want to say hello first?
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Hi, Joma. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all our viewers today. Thank you to the Manulife Investment Management team for the invitation. It's a privilege to be here.
Okay, I'll start with you, Joe Mag. I mean, I've had several breakfasts with you where we talked about how you started, but you are every entrepreneur's dream. How does one, from a simple businessman, become a billionaire like you? How did you start?
Well, first thing I want to say, no, sana ang negosyo ko parang kay Paulo. So, I'm impressed with the business model of Paulo. So, anyway, alam mo naman, di ba, the food kasi is taking also a hit itong pandemic. So, yung Potato Corner started because I was empleyado ako sa Wendy's before. I was starting a family at the time. So naghahanap ako ng bagong extra income para lang yung anak ko pwede ko paaral sa eskwela yung gandang eskwela, yung ganun ba. So buti na lang I kept my network always. It's very important, no, you always network with people, get in touch with people. Then one day tinawagan ako ng brother-in-law ko. So start kami ng negosyo ng ibang friends natin. Tama ka naman, oh. Tapos tinanong ko, ano negosyo yun? Flavored French fries. Ako naman, hindi ako umindi. Yes ako ng yes, eh. And if you look at how we do the business, Potato Corner, it's always yes. It's always no problem. So we have this no problem attitude and this always saying yes and then course correct later on. So, ang inspiration of flavored French fries was flavored popcorn. My brother-in-law kasi si Ricky was the pioneer in flavored popcorn in the Philippines. So that's the inspiration where it came from.
So technically speaking, from popcorn, it became Potato Corner, and you were with some friends. I remember you told me you were 3, right? Were you 3 or 5?
We were 4.
Okay, you were 4.
And then it became 5.
Yeah, but what's interesting here is Potato Corner didn't make it big right away, right? And before it became big, your partners wanted out. That's the interesting part because it's a lesson for many entrepreneurs. They got out before Potato Corner actually became big and you were left with it. Now you literally reap the rewards.
Karen, let me correct that. No, my partners, 4 of us, no, after about 8 years, we became 5. They were with me all throughout Potato Corner. In fact, there were of course when we started the business we were 4. We started as 4. Alam mo naman ang negosyo pag may partners, di ba? Minsan may friction ng konti,
yes,
iba yung we all have the same goal, pero minsan iba yung paraan ng gusto paano pumunta, pero same goal naman. Alam mo Karen, ang nangyayari sa amin, yung secret namin, hindi kami nagwatak-watak. Ang ginawa namin, we ask for help from other people. In fact, we ask help from a much older person na said, Donis, can you help us? Kasi medyo may friction kaming apat eh. Can you help us so that we know how to treat each other as business partners kasi friends kami eh. So, this guy, we asked him to be the CEO for a while. Alam mo, he taught us how to draw the line between ano bang pagkakaibigan, ano bang pagkaka-business partner. And then, smooth sailing na ulit yun after that. So, always ask for help.
Oh, that's one. So always ask for help. But I wanted to clarify this because many people know your story. I know of a friend of yours that got out of partnership with you before Potato Corner became big.
Well, Potato Corner became big right away. In fact, we started with one, di ba? The second store was a franchise already, because there were people who wanted to franchise already. We grew to 120 stores until 1997. Biglang tinamaan tayo ng Asian financial crisis. Muntik na ng Potato Corner. Buti na lang sa mga franchisees. Because of franchising and our franchisees, they helped us. From 120 stores, Karen, ang natira na lang after the financial crisis, for less than 40 stores. So we restarted the company again in 2001. And then we had a partner who had to go because he had other plans. 2001. Parang we restarted the company again.
Okay, so 2001, would you say when you restarted, you had a different business model? Was the 2001 model the model that made it fly?
It was the same, exactly the same business model. But the nice thing about is, nag-aral na ako noon. Kasi wala akong alam sa negosyo naman. Sa totoo lang, wido-wido lang kaming apat eh. During that Asian financial crisis, I had to find work in another company already. Actually, Mr. Donut yon. So, buti na lang naman, ginawa ko scholar. So, nag-aral ako sa Asian Institute of Management. I took master's degree in entrepreneurship. So, armed with that now, I told my partners, can I go back to Potato Corner and run it again? So, pumayag naman sila. Pumayag naman sila. So we started Potato Corner, same model, franchising again. But this time, we were more confident because of studying, because of all the new things that are happening, and because there were more franchise consultants already. We knew more about franchising than before.
Okay, I'll move now to Paulo. Paulo, you were 28 when you established Zalora Philippines and brought online shopping in the country. Where did you get the idea of online shopping, and what made you think that Filipinos at some point would get into e-commerce, considering Filipinos love their malls, loved going out? All right. Paulo, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm getting feedback from people that you are on mute. But then I can hear you quite well.
How about now, Karen?
How is that, guys? All right. Okay. Okay, because I could hear you a while ago. It was fine. But can you start again the story?
Sure. No worries.
Essentially, what made you think that e-commerce would work in the Philippines?
Sure. Thank you, Karen. No, as I was saying, 10 years ago, the landscape here in the Philippines was a very different one. It's very easy to look back in hindsight to see the digital revolution, of course, that's happened to us over the course of the past 10 years, accelerated by the pandemic and everything that we've been living through, of course, collectively over the past couple of years. But 10 years ago was a very different landscape. There was no e-commerce to speak of in the Philippines at the time. A lot of people were asking me if I was crazy leaving a very comfortable job in Singapore to take an entrepreneurial journey and start something new in the Philippines. But what we were seeing, of course, was indeed that we were becoming, as we are today, one of the most digital countries in the world. Our diasporic nature and with their Filipino fellow Filipinos all over the globe, that we were jumping onto social media and using the internet as a means to connect. So we figured then, and we happened to be right, that it was just only a matter of time before Filipinos woke up to shopping online specifically.
Okay. Now, would you say that was a calculated risk?
Very much so. I think on one side, it was highly uncertain, and again, 10 years ago, there was really no model in terms of an organized B2C or business to consumer e-commerce setup. For example, one of the big issues was the credit card usage. If you shop online in the US or in Europe, you of course need a credit card. So we're very proud to have pioneered cash on delivery in the country back in 2012 when we first started. I think this opened up a lot of how e-commerce is done today. And so while there were risks and there were behaviors that didn't exist then, I think, as true entrepreneurs do, just some tough spirit and strong vision and execution, we were able to bring forth, the scene we see today, where of course all of us are, very savvy shopping online now.
Yeah. Okay. So from the time you started your revolutionary site, just briefly, how would you describe Zalora's growth today?
Extremely strong, and I want to say astronomical. It has really been an amazing journey, even pre-pandemic. The thing is that the business was already going from strength to strength before the pandemic. We were very happy to welcome as key shareholders the Ayala Group collectively, and with together partnerships with them. You might have seen some of our pop-up stores in Greenbelt and other places. So that was already happening pre-pandemic. As you said at the outset, we count ourselves very blessed and lucky to be one of the ventures and one of the companies in the Philippines to be able to, in a way, benefit from the consumer change that we're all living through in the pandemic. And of course, since then, it's only accelerated even further with the shift towards e-commerce as the main channel that people have been shopping these days. Of course, being much more pronounced in the pandemic, but this is also a continuation of a trend that we've seen over the last 10 years.
All right. Now, all industries have been impacted by the pandemic. How did Potato Corner pivot during the pandemic? So maybe you can start first, Jomag, and then Paulo, how did Zalora adapt to the pandemic? Jomag.
Been focused on our franchisees. 80% of our stores around the world are managed by franchisees. So it's very important to take care of our franchisees. Our franchisees are hard hit because of the lockdowns. So what we do in terms of pivoting is we told our franchisees, guys, you're no longer limited to the 4 square meters of your stores. You now can sell outside 4 square meters of your stores, in your house, in your communities. So we engaged, of course, e-commerce already, digital. We found ways now to do community stores. So we go to where the market is. We all know the market, we're in communities already. So that's how we empowered our franchisees. Always thinking about the welfare of our franchisees. Because it's our franchisees, Karen, ang nag-aalaga naman sa mga end users, sa mga customers. Kaya talagang ang laking pasalamat namin sa mga franchisees. Kaya kami naman dapat suklian namin yung ginagawa ng mga franchisees para sa amin.
That's a good one. And you also, I remember, you can buy Potato Corner already by the bag, take home and cook it at home. Did that start during the pandemic only?
Yes, I was actually against it, no? Kasi iba yung experience eh. Diba?
Yeah.
I mean, siguro naman, Karen, nagluto ka rin ng french fries sa bahay, diba? Medyo mamantika, messy, tapos pag sinake mo, dikit-dikit yung flavor. But there were customers who really, we're lucky we had very customers who will die for potato corner. We were just lucky that way. Even with this, the experience was not the same as buying it in the store freshly cooked. They still wanted it. So we said, sige, ito yung gusto ng end user, ito yung gusto ng customer. Sige na, sige. So kahit ayaw ko, binigay namin kasi dapat naman, di ba, customer driven ka talaga eh. And it's good. 20% is our sales of our delivery now. And then a certain percentage, 10%, is our sales of frozen stuff already. So that's good.
Oh, that's good. See, so you technically added, there was some kind of expansion there. You added a new, not product per se, but a new way that the product could be accessed or sold. Paulo, how did you adapt to the pandemic?
Important role was Chief People Officer and ensuring the health and safety of our employees. We're very proud of our Zalora frontliners, or Zalora heroes as we call them, who keep the business chugging along. And first and foremost, the main focus certainly had to be on the health and welfare of our people. But second, and similar to Joe Mag's answers, we did introduce a new range of products. Previously, we had been very focused on the fashion space, but since we found ourselves in the pandemic and all of us needing not only fashion items, but the theme that we've seen, and we call it nesting, building your nest at home. So we went forth to launch new categories, including our home and living section for all of the great things that you would need at home. I know, for example, Hart is a fan of our home and living section, and other categories, including for kids and for other the other beauty and personal care and other categories you might need. So this pivot, a bit similar to Joe Mag's story around the frozen food. We're now seeing these new categories that we've since launched only during the pandemic be about 20% or more of our business. So really a big chunk now. So that was an amazing pivot. And after securing our people, we were able to ensure that we would have new revenue streams and pivot in an agile way.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe Mag and Paulo. I'll get back to you. I do want to stick to the time that's been allotted to us. Now, I'd like to first call in, if you have questions for Hart, Joe Mag, and Paulo, you can type it at the Q&A box at your screen's bottom right side, and we'll get back to them later. Now, the big question is how much you're willing to spend. First, you need to look at your financial situation before you actually venture into a new business. So I'd like to call in Manulife Investment Management's multi-awarded head of fixed income, Jean De Castro, Jean, and top wealth specialist, Sherry Ann Briñas. Good afternoon, Jean and Sherry Ann.
Good afternoon, Karen. Good afternoon, Karen, and hello to our viewers today.
All right. Now, Jean, the biggest challenge for aspiring entrepreneurs is getting the capital to start their business. How can investing prepare you for your future goals?
That's actually a good question, Karen. If the goal in mind is capital to start a business, young people can begin investing in pooled funds like our UITFs as early as 18 years old. And the standout advantage is definitely time. Time is on your side when you start early, and it's an important ingredient in compounding investment returns. Fast forward to a certain point that you no longer want to be employed, you might already have accumulated enough funds to kickstart your passion, and you'll thank your younger self to have made that decision of starting early.
All right, that's very smart. Now, what investment solutions can our audience explore, and how soon should they start their investment?
Well, at Manulife Investment Management, we do have a wide array of unit investment trust funds that our investors, young, old, and in between, can choose from. That suite of funds can cater to the client's risk appetite, from conservative, moderately aggressive, and aggressive. Being in charge of our fixed income portfolios, my team manages the funds that are best suited for the more conservative or moderately aggressive clients. Just to be specific, our money market fund and our short and medium dated bond funds are fit for investors whose objectives include building up their business startup fund. The reason behind this is that, these types of funds expose the clients to less volatility, which is very important in terms of making forecasts on estimating your startup capital for your business venture. You can't really go too aggressive with your choice of funds because it may impact your future plans of launching your business if and when your fund investments are still encountering some market volatility. How early as 18 years old, one can already open a UITF account.
Okay, now, Cherry, as a wealth specialist, I'm sure you have a lot of success stories from your clients who've invested earlier on and how they're enjoying their returns. Can you share this with us?
Well, that's right, Karen. I've been in the financial services industry for almost 20 years now. I'm proud and I'm happy to share that I have created a long-lasting relationship with my clients. Well, I can share a few standouts, and these are standouts not because of how big their investments are or the size of their investments, but mainly because the words of gratitude they gave me after enjoying the returns of their investments are the ones that stick to my mind even up to this day. First, I have this client who invested in our Dragon Fund last year. And after a year, this client was already enjoying an unrealized gain of more than 30%. Yes, you heard me right, a positive return at the height of the pandemic. Although our funds are positioned for medium to long term, there are still clients like her who wanted to enjoy the gains from investments. Since clients can transact online via our Manulife funds, they can easily do partial redemption and enjoy their gains. Well, a great story was when a client last December realized gains of 40% and used those returns to enjoy the holidays.
Wow, my gosh, you should have told me about that earlier.
I know, yeah, I will after this.
Not 40% returns, Jerry.
Not too late, Karen. Yeah.
I know, it's not too late, everyone. So how about for those who are not yet ready for the big thing? Example, someone may not have that much money to invest, but is keen to earn passive income. What would you advise them?
Okay, so, well, that sounds very familiar, Karen, no? Especially when I talk to the younger generation, the Gen Ys and Zs. But what I always tell them is we have to start somewhere, and we can start small. Good thing our UITFs in Manulife are very affordable. For most of our funds, you can invest for as low as 5,000 pesos initial investment. We have 4 funds with income payout, and the minimum is a little higher at 50,000 pesos initial investment. This is to make sure that you will enjoy significant payout every January and July, and this would take care of the passive income you just mentioned. If those two amounts are still seem so high, 2 of our funds only require 1,000 pesos initial investment. Lastly, we wanted to make investment or investing regularly to be easy for them. So I always encourage my clients, especially the younger ones, to avail of our regular savings plan. What happens here is that regular investing is made very convenient because your monthly or your bi-weekly subscription are paid via automatic debit arrangement with our partner banks. You will only enroll once and you don't have to think about it in the future. And the minimum across all funds is only 1,000 pesos.
I think honestly, this is a game changer for many Filipinos because I'm sure you all know that more than 70% of Filipinos don't even have their own passbook. And they see an ATM as a savings account, which you often want to say, no, it's not the same thing, right? So, you have entrepreneurs that are earning so much cash during the day, and then they have nowhere to invest that in where that's safe. So this Manulife regular savings plan, I'm just curious, with an initial investment of 1,000, is there a guaranteed income for this?
Well, actually, in all of our UITFs, there is no guarantee. As I said, although we have a money market fund that is actually safe for some conservative clients. If you want to park your funds, instead of just parking in a savings account, which actually we just gave you, actually low interest rate, you might actually want to diversify and do a money market investment with us.
Okay. My last question, what advice or insight can you give investors who are afraid to start because of market volatility?
I think this is for me, right, Karen? My advice to investors out there is to get as much information to minimize that fear. Market volatility is inevitable, but that's a hasty generalization. When you go to specific investment options, there are funds that are less volatile than others, as Sherry mentioned, the money market fund. The good thing now is with the advent of technology, it's no longer hard to do research about these topics. But for those that would not know where to start, my other suggestion is to speak to a financial professional like Cherry here, who's there to guide you through every step of the way.
All right. Thank you so much, Jean and Sherry. It's been wonderful speaking with you. So, guys, now we have questions. I'd like to bring back Hart, Jomag, Paulo, Jean, and Sherry. So there are questions from the audience. I'll go straight. Question for Hart. This person is 20 years old. I'd like to start a business, but I have minimum income. What's your advice, Hart? How do I start?
Honestly, I think my husband would always say, you don't be in a rush. Just keep saving what you can, and when the right time happens, then you can, of course, ask amazing people to help you out. But what's important is you already start working and start saving, and then it's easy when you have it there in front of you. It doesn't have to be super huge, but at least you have a good amount of savings.
And I'm curious, based on your own personal experience, do you believe hard in just investing in something, even if it earns, but not really understand it? Or you believe you're more successful when you're hands-on, or you're really involved in the business somehow?
Yes, for sure. You have to do you have to know what you're doing, because if you know what you're doing, you could kind of develop your knowledge around that. You can also actually learn more and input more of your knowledge and make the business grow. So definitely it's important to know what you're doing.
Okay, Jomag, question here from JB. What is the future of Potato Corner? Expansion plans or possibly offering new products or services?
Oh, good question, Karen. By the way, on the first question you had, ang Potato Corner, meron no cash out plan. So if you want to be a Potato Corner partner, you talk to us and we will give you a business. Wala kayo lalabas na pera kahit piso.
Grabe
We'll talk to
naman
you
yan.
about that later on.
Ibang level naman.
So balik tayo dun.
Pinas, nagbe-vet ka na lang. You're vetting the franchisee harder, stricter.
Yeah, all you have to do is look for a site for Potato Corner, and we'll take care of you. So we take care of our partners. We are in the business of making dreams come true for people who wanna increase their income. So, on your question, Karen, yung version 2 ng Potato Corner is more products talaga. So tama yung question na yun. The moving forward, Potato Corner will develop more products so that the basket size will become bigger. Kasi yung problema namin, French fries lang. So
give me
boring in terms of basket size.
Anong product?
So we'll have,
are you gonna have donuts?
Well, pizza, donuts.
Okay.
Donuts is a possibility. But in Australia, we have burgers already. In the USA, we have fried chicken already. We have chicken wings. So those will trickle down to the Philippines. We've started them international already. So those will trickle down all in the Philippines. Then we're going to start drive-thrus already this year.
Wow.
People are starting to love drive-thrus already, including myself. No?
So is Potato Corner gonna be like a Jollibee?
No, Jollibee is Jollibee. About the Jollibee, no, we will never compete with Jollibee. Matagal na malayo na yung partida ng Jollibee. Hindi na kami naabot doon. Pero in our own special way, Potato Corner will be a flavored. We are flavored French fries in the last 29 years. Moving forward, we'll be the house of flavors.
I love that. Ang ganda nun flavored French fries. Moving forward, you will be the house of flavors. Okay, so we can expect at least what you've said, pizza, possibly burgers already in Australia, and who knows, you even might have donuts. That's just some. Okay, I'd like to ask Paulo. One of the markets that bloomed during the pandemic is e-commerce. Hence, there are a lot of new e-commerce businesses that popped out. What is Zalora's point of differentiation? That's from a viewer.
Thank you, Karen, for the question. Zalora's main point of differentiation would certainly be around our assortment. So having really great, high quality, authentic products that in many cases you can only find on Zalora. And the experience end to end really being our focus on customer experience, and from the moment you choose the product online to it being received at your doorstep. And if you have any problem with it, even the post-sales return of the product, that whole end-to-end cycle of really ensuring that you're satisfied with your online shopping purchase, I would say that would be our key differentiator. But ultimately, as Hart was saying earlier, in terms of product selection and what people are looking for, I think our biggest strength would still be our selection and assortment.
Okay. I'd like to ask Hart, from a viewer before you go, where have you been investing lately? And please give us your final message.
Well, actually, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. I was so inspired talking to all of you. I mean, it's so nice to hear your stories and how, your billion company grew and how it grew from passion. Lately, I've been actually working on for almost a year, just very hectic with a beauty company that I'm actually going to launch. So it's one of my biggest ventures that I've ever really got involved in, and it'll be with my sister. So that's what's been keeping me busy. So going back to your first question a while ago, you asked me if when you venture into something very important, do you have to know something about it? And the answer is definitely. It has to be something that you're ready to cry, and you're ready to get tired, and you're ready to fall out and fall in love with it because you loved it from the very beginning and you know so much about it. So going back to what you're asking me, what is my next venture? It is beauty. Anything that will, promote empowering and inspiring women and becoming their own version of their babe boss. That is something that I'm working on. So thank you so much for inspiring me. This actually was very timely, and I really needed those words of encouragement and your inspiring stories. And thank you again for having me today.
Thank you, Hart, and it's been a pleasure to listen to your story, and you're quite inspiring, especially for many young women out there who want to achieve their best potential. Thank you, Hart. You take care. Now, thank you, dear. Okay, so Jean, I want to ask you, in terms of timing on setting up a business, what's the impact of setting up a business during periods of high or low inflation?
Well, to those who have experience in setting up a business, regardless of its size, I'm sure you'll agree that there are many factors to consider and a lot of items in your checklist. Since starting a business is a big cash outlay, it's ideal that you do it when inflation is low. What does that mean? The factors of production, namely land, labor, capital, will be priced cheaper compared to when inflation is high. Again, this is ideal because in the real world, factors to consider go beyond cost and inflation. For many entrepreneurs, they make that leap of faith when they feel that they're ready to take that plunge.
That's very true. For many entrepreneurs, they say, listen to your gut. That's one thing too. Earlier, Cherry, we talked about investment options to grow your wealth and to be prepared with a capital. But how about those who would like an immediate fund and considering getting a loan? Is that a wise decision?
Well, to be realistic about it, many people venture into business by means of getting a loan, and it's totally fine. As long as you have a sound feasibility study on your business idea and good credit score, your bank will mostly likely approve your loan. However, paying off your loan while your business is still trying to take off can be very stressful as well. So if I were to be asked of an ideal scenario, it would be better if a bigger chunk of your business capital would come from liquidating your investment or savings, and only a smaller portion may come from a loan.
Okay, thank you, Cherry. That's quite helpful and very practical. Last words from Jomag and Paulo. What would you advise young entrepreneurs or those that want to start a business and are listening and watching you today? Maybe Paulo, you can give a brief one.
Sure. My advice would be to start somewhere. I think entrepreneurship very much is just about taking one step at a time and chasing your dreams. I think this is the perfect time to actually start your own business or even sideline on top of your day job. And there's the internet, of course, and the power of e-commerce allows you to do that in a very easy and low setup cost way. So I highly encourage all of you to just take the first step. It'll also help our country in this moment of need in terms of economic recovery.
Yeah, thank you for that, Paulo. I agree. Take the first step. And there's one thing there, guys. Don't quit your day job just yet until you know you should. Joe Mag, what's your advice?
Oh, Karen, invest tayo sa Dragon Fund. Mukhang okay yung Dragon Fund.
Oh, di ba?
By the way,
Dragon Fund ng Manulife. Nagulat nga ako.
By the way, I'm Manulife protected. So,
okay.
Manulife is close to my heart. So, three things. If you want to go into business and you're not an expert or a master in that kind of business, you franchise na lang. Because the franchisor will teach you and will give you all the systems already. If you know the business very well, you have a master, start it on your own, pwede yan. You have to know yourself. I had 4 years of psychotherapy myself to understand who I am. And that made me stronger. So know yourself. That's part of self-mastery. If you don't know yourself, you won't be able to start anything properly and grow anything.
I like that. Thank you so much, Joe Mag, Paulo, Cherry, and Jean for today. And of course, thank you, Hart. I want to thank everybody who joined us this afternoon. More than 2,000 participants joining us. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. One thing is clear, there is no surefire formula for instant success. In fact, it's not about a sprint really in business. It's a marathon when you think about it, and learning along the way. So keep in mind the advice and the tips that each of our panelists gave you. We're excited for you to take the next step. And one thing clear, it's just like the ad. Sometimes you just have to get out there and do it and conquer your fears. So this has been your host, Karen Davila. Watch out for future webinars of Manulife Philippines and Manulife Investment Management. I'll leave you with a quick post-event survey to please let us know how you find today's webinar. Simply scan the QR code flashed on your screen right now. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. God bless you. And everybody, please take care.
The world is changing, and investors around the world are becoming more sophisticated, demanding innovative solutions from wealth and asset managers. Combining our deep expertise and experience in both investment and wealth management, Manulife Investment Management offers fully integrated solutions spanning investment funds and pensions globally. Strategically positioned in key markets, our investment and client service operations are supported by seasoned investment professionals across the globe. Today, we are one of the leading global wealth and asset managers. What sets us apart is Our 3 complementary global business lines to meet the unique needs of our clients. With our multi-product and multi-channel offerings, our retail investments arm brings institutional capabilities to retail investors, creating unparalleled investment solutions. While our institutional asset management arm provides a comprehensive suite of outcome-oriented solutions to institutions internationally. Our retirement arm offers an open architecture platform, which aims at providing best-in-class products and end-to-end solutions to meet the varied retirement needs. Leveraging the strength of our parent company, Manulife Financial Corporation, which has a rich heritage and investment track record that dates back to the 1800s. We have access to a wealth of experience. With our strong insurance pedigree, we manage risks in a strategic and dynamic way. In Asia, our unrivaled presence and deep understanding of the region enable us to offer strong local insights and flexibility in customizing solutions for every client. It is our unwavering commitment in Asia that makes us a trusted partner of many across the world. Leveraging our local level expertise, as well as extensive global resources and network, we deliver solid investment results not just in public markets, but also private markets. Our long track record and deep capabilities in private assets means you can tap into a diverse group of assets to meet your unique investment needs. Through our differentiated, value-added public and private asset offerings and capabilities, we punch above our weight in delivering outcome-oriented and goal-based investment solutions to our clients. We achieve excellence in Hong Kong, where we power the largest mandatory provident fund provider, Manulife, and China, where we are the first financial institution to receive the investment company wholly foreign-owned entity license. The Philippines, where we are the first trust corporation backed by a leading multinational financial services group. And Indonesia, where we were awarded the top fund house. And this sums up our commitment to you. Manulife Investment Management.
Bro, anong gagawin mo pag nagkaroon ka ng milyones?
Magne-negosyo.
Anong business?
None of your business.
Eh kung mag-around the world na lang kaya tayo?
Saan ang unang punta natin?
Sa airport.
Nakareceive ka naman ng mga text na get rich fast?
Medyo alangayin ako sa mga ganyan. Our goal should never be of the clandestine, to meticulously invest in that result in favorable ROI. And the thought alone gets me absolutely exhilarated.
Ha?
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 Kung yayain ko na lang kayang makapag-date si Hart.
Sal na yun, oy.
Aba, imagine lang naman eh.
Pag ikakasal na kayo, siguraduhin yung malapit kayo sa torre ng telco.
Bakit?
Para maganda yung reception.
Alam ko na. Ipapa-plastic surgery ko na lang yung mukha mo.
Pero?
Walang pero. Nakakainis lang kasi itsura mo. Eh kung magpakain na lang kaya tayo sa mga kapuspalad.
Eh di tropa din natin, tsaka pamilya yung pumunta ron. Pa-family reunion ka na lang sana.
Magtatayo na lang ako ng gym.
Bakit gym?
Para mag-workout lahat ng plans ko.
Ano bang plans mo?
None of your business.
Silence, position 3.
Ready, direct!
3, 2, 1, action!
Huh?
And cut!
Buti na lang naisip natin to.
Dali lang pala.
Hoy, ano yan?
Uy, nakita ko yun. Maang-maangan pa kayo, ah.
There's a ribbon in the sky, painting rivers on the moonlight, moving pictures say the words of a story that begins. I'll hold your hand and wipe your tears. We'll laugh until we run out of years.
Best friends pala.
Cause no matter if our blue skies turn to gray, there's a ray of
Delivery
sun
for Martin De Leon.
to light our way.
Ma'am, kasama po kayo?
And although the roads are rough, I'll get through it just because I'll have my you. You'll have you me. No matter what may come, we'll have our we and us.